All right, let's jump right in. We're going to talk about our food system, a really cool company called Ample, and something they call the best food you've never tasted. The best food you've never tasted? I mean, what does that even mean, right? It's a heck of a question. And it gets right to a massive, kind of hidden problem at the core of our entire food system. And that problem is just an incredible amount of waste. Get ready for this number. Just let it sink in. 26,000 tons. That's how much perfectly good food gets wasted in the UK every single day. To put that in perspective, that's like throwing away over 2,000 double-decker buses worth of food daily. And the price tag on all that waste? It's absolutely staggering. We're talking £20 billion. That's what it costs the UK economy every single year. And look, this is way beyond just scraping a few leftovers into the bin. This is a huge, huge drain on the whole economy. So here's the really important part. This isn't your fault or my fault. It's not about us forgetting something in the fridge. This is a systemic failure. The whole system, the way it's built, is just broken. And that brokenness is what leads to these absolutely mind-boggling levels of waste. And this crisis, it's hitting us from all angles. So on one side, you've got farmers. They're leaving up to a quarter of their crops just rotting in the field because they can't sell them. Then on the other side, all that wasted food, it pumps out a massive 6% of the UK's total carbon emissions. So you see, it's a disaster for farmers, a disaster for the economy, and a disaster for the planet. Okay, so it sounds pretty bleak, right? But what if there's a better way to do things? Well, that's where our story pivots, because out of this mess, a new solution is popping up, and it's a company called Ample. Now, Ample is interesting. It's not a charity, but it's not your typical profit-hungry company either. They call themselves a social business with a commercial attitude. And their mission? It's super clear and really powerful. Rescue, revalue, and repurpose as much of that unsold farm surplus as they can. It's all about seeing the gold in what everyone else is treating like garbage. So you're probably wondering, okay, that sounds great, but how do they actually pull it off? Well, their whole strategy is this really clever two-part plan. It tackles the problem from a couple of different directions at once. Okay, part one. It's called the Ample Marketplace. Just think of it like a smart online hub that completely short-circuits the old, wasteful supply chain. It connects farmers who have extra produce directly with businesses who can actually use it. And how it works is just, well, it's beautifully simple. Farmers go online, list what they have, and this is the key part. They get to set their own price. Then businesses like caterers or restaurants can just hop on and buy that amazing produce. And Ample takes care of all the annoying stuff, the logistics, the paperwork, the payments. It just makes the whole thing super efficient, and more importantly, it puts the power back where it belongs, with the farmers. But wait, there's more. They don't just stop at playing matchmaker. The second part of their plan takes this whole mission to the next level. They're actually turning that surplus produce into awesome, high-value food. And they do that in what they call the Ample Kitchen. So inside the Ample Kitchen, they take that very same surplus and they work some magic, turning it into really nutritious stuff. Soups, stews, sauces. But check out who they're selling it to first. They're targeting places like schools and hospitals, where great nutrition is not negotiable, but budgets are always super tight. And their ambition is just massive. They're starting with a goal of 1 million meals a year, and they plan to scale that all the way up to 5 million. And look, this isn't just some nice idea on paper. It actually works. Listen to what this farmer, Jack Scott, had to say. He said, "They handle my customer invoicing, collect the money, and send it to me within a couple of weeks, leaving me free focus on growing." I mean, that says it all, right? It just gets rid of the headache and lets him focus on farming. So, what's the secret sauce here? Why does this model work so well? Well, it all comes down to understanding what this surplus food really is. It's about unlocking this huge, hidden value that our current system is just completely blind to. This is probably the most important thing to get. They call it quality surplus. And let's be clear, we are not talking about bad food. This stuff isn't rotten or spoiled. It's fresh, it's nutritious, it's delicious. It's just imperfect. The carrot has 2 legs, the potato looks a bit weird, the tomato isn't that perfect uniform red the supermarkets demand. That's literally the only reason it gets rejected. And when you put Ample's models side by side with the old way of doing things, the difference is just night and day. See, traditional wholesalers,
They're traders. Their main goal is to buy low and sell high, maximizing their own profit. They dictate the price, and sometimes farmers have to wait months to get paid. But Ample, they're a service provider. The farmer sets the price. The farmer gets paid in days. The whole focus just shifts from pure profit to fairness and efficiency.
And it's not just a win for the farmers. The buyers love it too. Here's what Michael Hales, a CEO who buys from them, says. Ample makes the buying process quick and easy, providing consistent availability and advanced purchasing with great customer service. So for him, it's a no-brainer. He gets great produce reliably without all the usual hassle. It's a win-win. So when you put all this together, what kind of an impact are we actually talking about? Well, it's pretty huge. The goals Ample has set for itself, they really paint a picture of what a better food future could look like. Okay, check out their goals for 2030. They want to put an extra 195 million pounds back into the pockets of farmers. They want to cut carbon emissions by 250,000 tons, and they're aiming to rescue 7% of all the farm surplus in the UK. I mean, these aren't tiny little tweaks. This is a plan for a complete system overhaul. And you know what's so cool about this? It's not just about the UK. What Ample is doing plugs directly into the biggest challenges we're facing as a planet. Their work actually helps hit the targets for at least 8 of the UN Sustainable Development Goals. We're talking about huge things like zero hunger, responsible consumption, and climate action. It's local action with a truly global impact. All right, so they've got this amazing model, they've got these massive goals. So what's next on the list? How do they get there? Well, they've got a very clear plan, and it's happening right now. And I mean it when I say right now. This isn't some 10-year plan. Just look at their milestones for 2025. In April, they're rolling out nationwide deliveries. By May, they're launching a whole frozen food line. And then in October, the Ample Kitchen officially starts shipping out its soups, sauces, and stews. They are not messing around. They are scaling up, and they are doing it fast. And that brings us right back to where we started, with a question. Ample is out there proving that it is totally possible to have a food system that's fair for farmers, efficient for businesses, and sustainable for the planet. And when you see that it can be done, it really makes you think, doesn't it? Why on earth did we ever accept anything less?